We don't have a pastor here today, so I'm going to ask for those that like to participate, stand in a moment of silence and add their own intentions. And after that, we'll have Rich lead us in the pledge. So if you'll stand for that one, participate. Thank you. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. I'll call this meeting to order of the Pinal County Board of Supervisors of June 18th, 2025. So is Mr. McClure participating telephonically at this moment?
Vice Chairman McClure has not joined the meeting yet.
Okay, you'll notify me when he does?
Yes, Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, brings us to item number 1, the manager's report. Mr. Liu.
Good morning, Chairman. We'd like to celebrate a grant that we got to build a playground for the kids at our public housing complex on 11 Mile Corner. We have a video to help commemorate and celebrate that event.
We are here celebrating our new park equipment and new grounds here at 11 Mile Corner. This is really important because these children deserve a safe place to play and enjoy being a kid.
Before, oh my goodness, when I say it was horrendous, it was horrendous. There was no shade. It was just metal, too hot for the kids to come out and play and enjoy the park. They would come over and knock on the doors, come through the doors and say, when are we going to build the park? When are we going to get a new park? We need something to play on. And now we have something for them to play on. We just thankful for this event and thankful for this playground.
This was important for these families because we are in an area where there's not many things that they can do. They're not in walking distance to a store. This is the only park in the area that these children have to rely on, and the upgrade of this equipment was very important because the previous equipment was old, it was torn, and many of the features did not work. And so it wasn't really safe for the children to play here.
It is just so wonderful that we here at the Housing Authority, we are a team. We had case managers, we had operations managers, we had the finance department, we had the administrative team. We had everyone here that came together, and it has been so amazing.
There was some funding available for projects, and fortunately, the Housing Authority was able to receive some of those fundings from the county grant department, and this is why this is possible, and these kids are out here today enjoying the new equipment. The Housing Authority, we have 139 public housing units that we own, manage, and maintain. We also have the Housing Choice Voucher Program. We have about 850 Housing Choice Vouchers with about 635 vouchers in use. Families really need affordable housing. We have to make sure that every person deserves a decent place to call home. I do have a lot of other exciting things planned. I plan to seek some additional grants to extend this playground to make sure that the families here can really enjoy being outside, especially in the summer when the children are out of school. And I'm looking forward to trying to build some additional affordable housing units right here at this location.
I just hope that everyone gets the opportunity to come out and enjoy the park. Get out. Go down the slide. Enjoy yourself. Remember what it's like being a kid? That's what we feel today. We feel like kids all over again.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Brings us to item number 2 on the agenda, which is the presentation of certificates of service to employees 20 and 25 years. Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Chairman. This morning we have 7 employees to celebrate with and to honor for their years of service. First up, from the Clerk of the Superior Court, we have Lupita Bracamonte, who's been with us for 20 years. And Ms. Padilla is here. Do you want to speak?
Good morning. I'm Chairman, Supervisors. Good morning. My name is Rebecca Padilla. I'm the Clerk of the Superior Court. I'm excited to be here today to celebrate an incredible milestone for Lupita's career, 20 years of dedicated service to the clerk's office. Over the past 20 years, Lupita has worked tirelessly to master the operations of our jury department. In September of 2024, she was promoted to jury manager, which is a testament to the hard work and the dedication that she has given to our jury department. I do have to say that calling on members from our community to come in to serve for jury duty, it can be a tough gig sometimes. But Lupita has always just had this commitment and this professionalism and dedication, to ensuring that our jurors have the most positive experience, whether they are selected or not. And just that has always been her commitment to our jurors, just that they have the best experience in fulfilling their civic duty. And that's just truly been commendable. I've had the pleasure of working alongside Lupita for all these years, and I've watched her literally grow into this exceptional employee and a leader that she is today. Lupita, as you celebrate your 20 years of service, please know that I am truly thankful for all of your contributions and ongoing dedication to our jury department, the clerk's office, and to Pinal County. Congratulations, Lupita, on this well-deserved recognition today.
Now, don't run off because there's a group photo that comes along a little bit later. Does she want to say anything?
No.
Okay. No worries.
Next, we have Mario Rodriguez, who's been with us for 20 years in development services. Mr. Ortiz.
While they're coming up, I want to announce that Supervisor McClure has joined us telephonically.
Good morning, Chair, Board of Supervisors, Joe Ortiz, Development Services Managing Director. Yeah, it's my honor, pleasure to speak on behalf of Mario's accomplishment here, 20 years of service. Mario's one of those, as you can tell, dedicated employees and kind of wanted to move through the ranks and advance, and he's done that. He originally started back in 2005 as a basic operator. Back in those days, that was a different classification. We call them now heavy equipment operator trainees. But Mario soon moved into taking on a larger role and larger responsibilities and moved into a general operator and then eventually a certified operator, which actually has a CDL at that point. Then he takes on even more roles and more responsibility in a supervisory type of position as an assistant highway foreman for Santan. Next, he moves on into outside of the heavy equipment world, but more into our inspection side with our pavement preservation as a civil engineering tech. And currently, he's a quality assurance inspector, making sure all our horizontal infrastructure and all our subdivisions and roads and all that are built per plan, and making sure that traffic control is up and moving so folks in their community don't get delayed. So it's a large role now, and very much appreciated. One of, I guess, fun facts about Mario, like I said, he moved out of that heavy equipment operator role back in 2016, I think. But here in 2023, he was awarded our Top Gun for our safety rodeo. For those that don't know, is our safety rodeo is an event where we have individuals that participate on a motor grader, belly dump, or not a belly dump, but end dump, loader, and other pieces of heavy equipment. So literally 7 years out of that seat of heavy equipment, he came in and showed that he still has it, I guess. I guess it's like riding a bike, right, Mario? Never forget. So thanks, Mario. I really appreciate all your service.
All right. Thank you. Next.
Next, we have Mike West, who has been with us for 25 years in information technology. Mr. Crantrell is here.
Good morning. Jason Cantrell, I'm the interim CIO. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I did have another employee, Sarah Hess, 20 years. I would just like to say a few words about her. She is just a really amazing employee. She consistently shows her knowledge and skills leading our GIS department. This has recently been shown with a national recognition where Sarah and her team will receive the SAG Award at the ESRI conference next month. This award is given for a special achievement in GIS. The team will be recognized for their work on their addressing project with Development Services. I just wanted to say thank you, Sarah, for your 20 years, even though she could not be here today. Mr. West, Michael started with the county as an intern back in 2000. He was hired onto a full-time position in 2004 as a PC tech, then promoted to a PC analyst in 2016. In 2021, Michael's knowledge and skills led him to a new role of help desk supervisor. His performance in this new role quickly translated into a promotion to operations manager in 2022. And finally, a few months ago, Michael stepped up yet again to interim deputy director. This new role is just another testament of his dedication and willingness to learn and adapt to the needs of Pinal County. Michael has dedicated his professional life to Pinal County, and we are all better off for it. You should be very proud of your progression through IT. Recently, Michael had the opportunity to speak with our new interns entering Pinal County, just as he did 25 years ago. I was so impressed watching Michael convey his story of success with them. Your willingness to share your experiences could be the reason for the future success of one of those young men or women. In Michael's current role of interim deputy director, he has been instrumental in keeping our day-to-day operations running and our projects moving forward. His wealth of knowledge has been a huge asset in the always changing environment of IT. I can't thank you enough for all you've done for our department and for me personally.
I would just like to thank County Management, Board of Supervisors, of course, Jason, all of his guidance over the last 20 years, and of course, my beautiful wife. And thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Jason. Okay.
Next, we have Laura, and I apologize if I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Bedell or Beadle? Bedell.
Adele.
Laura Bedell. Has been with us 25 years, and Ms. Bradner is here to speak.
Good morning, Chairman Miller, Vice Chair McClure, and Supervisors. My name is Jeannie Bradner, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Juvenile Court Services. While my 475 days with Pinal County hardly stack up against Laura's 9,150, I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have inherited a team member with such deep-rooted commitment and longevity. Today, recognizing Laura for an extraordinary 25 years of dedicated service. Over the past 2.5 decades, Laura has exemplified professionalism, passion, and an unwavering commitment to our department, the youth we serve, and the mission of this county. I'm especially grateful for Laura's openness to change and try new things. Laura holds a wealth of institutional knowledge, as you can imagine anyone with this amount of years does, so much so that we've had to resort to capturing it one golden nugget at a time before she transitions into retirement. Reaching a milestone like this is no small feat. It speaks volumes about Laura's resilience, adaptability, and heart for public service. Her dedication not only inspires her colleagues, but also those that are just beginning their careers. So on behalf of Juvenile Court Services and all of Pinal County, thank you, Laura, for 25 impactful years.
Next, we have 2 employees from the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant James Rimmer has been with us 20 years, and Detention Officer Reina Garcia has been with us for 20 years as well. Don't know if Sheriff Teeple is here this morning. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Supervisors, Pinal County. Lieutenant Rimmer's not here this morning. When I texted him this morning and reminded him of the Board of Supervisors meeting, he texted back and said, "I'm so sorry, I'm working on the quarterly reports for Stone Garden. Could you pick up my picture for me?" Why I want to bring that up this morning especially is if you guys haven't had the opportunity to see the rescue that we assisted Coconino County with, where we flew our Huey up and used our hoist to get a young lady out of a steep cliff. That could not have been done without that Huey. It was the only helicopter that was currently serviceable that had the capabilities in Arizona to rescue that young lady. That helicopter is paid for by a Stone Garden grant. So we would not have been able to rescue that lady if it wasn't for the Stone Garden grant that the Board of Supervisors so graciously approved. And thank you so much for that. I know that young lady's family thanks you. I know the chief over the jail, Gil Hoyos, wants to speak about Officer Garcia. She's an amazing individual. The one compliment I want to give her didn't come from me. Every time I go into the jail, she's always positive. She's always has a can-do attitude. She's just an outstanding employee. And I mentioned that one time to a sergeant that shall remain nameless because the sergeant told me I have to watch myself because I abuse Officer Garcia. And I was like, whoa, 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 that's not acceptable. And he goes, you have to understand what I mean. She's such a stellar employee. I find myself always asking her to complete a task, to complete a job, and that's the type of person she is, and we need more of them in Pinal County, and thank God you've been here for 20 years.
Deputy Chief Gilbert Oyles for Pinal County Jail. Good morning, Chairman Millen, members of the board, honored guests. It's my privilege to recognize and honor a remarkable individual whose commitment to the public service and dedication to the Pinal County Sheriff's Office in our county. Detention Officer Reina Garcia is celebrating 20 years of service with the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. Garcia, the Pinal County Sheriff's Office appreciates your hard work and dedication. Throughout her career, Garcia has consistently gone above and beyond the call of duty, whether serving the detention center, mentoring young detention officers, responding to jail emergencies, keeping the jail in compliance according with jail standards and policies and procedures, which is care, custody, and control within the facility, or simply showing up each day with unwavering professionalism. She has earned the deep respect of her peers and supervisors. On behalf of the County Board of Supervisors, the Pinal County Sheriff's Office, and our entire community, and myself, and all the jail, thank you for your services these last 20 years, and you are an amazing employee. So detention rate, dedicate your service. We honor you today, always. Thank you.
Is that all of them there, Louis? Yeah. Okay.
Board, I want to just say thank you, one thing, but I want to say my family here, my adult detention family, I love them. I respect them. I will always have their back. I will always serve the citizens of Pinal County, but most of all, Gil and Officer Allen back there, since day one when I started here, they've always had my back, and I appreciate them too, to the most degree of all these 20 years that I've been here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think it's time for a group photo. Okay, so if our recipients can come forth, and then we can get a hold of Mr. Johnson. There he is.
Let me go behind.
You have to be up front.
So this is one guy some kind of computer thing. Caught my head, and then he tells me in English what it really is. So I felt great at that. Let me get back.
Joe, have to step back. One more, jeez. Quit hiring people. That will work. Just a little bit. There you go. Stand by. Rich? This way a little bit. No, Rich right in here. Miller? There, I can make that one. Holy cow. Okay. And everybody's going to look right here. Big smiles like you mean it. 3, 2. And we're going to do one more because I want to make sure somebody always blinks. Just a little bit. Okay. Big smiles. No faking it this time. 3, 2. One more just because. Biggest one yet. Everybody's watching. 3, 2. There we go. Thank you very much.
Kevin, hey, detention, Lieutenant Swofford. Can we get a picture with her detention family?
Carrie.
He's getting Kevin. He's getting Kevin.
Baby dog.
Kevin, where'd he go?
Come back here and photobomb the picture.
Go that way one step. That way one step. Yep. There we go. Come around on the other side of her. There you go. People over. There you go. Right there in the middle. There you go. All right. Wow, they listen really well. And big smile. 3, 2. We're going to do one more just to make sure. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. right, well, thank you. It's always fun to recognize the dedication that we have employees that take that many years and spend it here with us, dedicated like that. So, thank you. Brings us to item number 3, Supervisors' updates. Supervisor Surtee, do you have any updates for your district?
No real updates on the county stuff, but just the whole community. Want to thank them all for the outpouring in the services and the honoring of Officer Fazio, who was struck down in the memorial service that they had and the fundraiser. By 1 o'clock, there were already 5,000 people had gone through there, and it was supposed to end at 7, but it went way further than that into the night. And you just don't realize what a close-knit community that sometimes we have until you have something like this that brings them together. And as you look at all the uniformed folks here, every one of them has our backs as well, and we sure do appreciate them. So thanks for coming out.
Supervisor Goodman, do you have anything?
I don't. No, but I wasn't here last week, but I appreciate Supervisor Surtee recognizing the particular officer that was fallen, and I think that's important that we do in our country and in our communities, that we honor those that serve our communities to the utmost, even to the sacrifice of their own lives. And so I appreciate Supervisor Surtee for doing that. Thank you.
Supervisor McClure, do you have anything you want to bring up?
Oh, nothing from me. Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor Rich?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. So on June 5th, I was able to talk about at the ADOT work session about the 347 and how important it is to get on the 5-year plan. We've had several deaths just over the last few months, and enough is enough, and I'll be attending the ADOT meeting on Friday to speak about the 347 to get on that 5-year plan. So those emails that go to hundreds of us, actually thousands, over 12,000 letters over the last year. We appreciate the fact that you are, engaging in the city of Maricopa and even outside the city of Maricopa, because 347 doesn't affect just Maricopa. It affects everybody who wants to go to Gila Bend or who's going to go to San Diego. They come down that 347, and it's important that we have the support that we've had over the past close to 10 years. Something like this has taken over 10 years. It's just like the overpass did. It took 15 years to get an overpass that saves lives every day of the week. So I appreciate everybody who sent in all those letters. Then also on the 6th, I attended the Pinal Partnership, and they talked about water. And, we all know how important water is, and we're going to continue to make sure that Pinal gets their share of water. And Steve does an amazing job to make sure of that, that's for sure. So then on the 10th, I attended with the Maricopa Fire Department, a Fire and Risk Alliance about solar and battery storage. It is so important for us to know when we vote on this stuff for our neighbors that we make sure that they are safe and what's going on with solar and battery storage. And I've been digging into it heavily. And matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, I've asked for a work session, so hopefully we get that approved. And it's going to be open to the public, so please attend when we figure out which date that's going to be, because it's super important for everybody to understand. Whether you like it or not, solar, it's here, it's coming, and we got to make sure that we have enough power, because we want to make sure we flip the switch day in and day out. But we also have to remember, public safety is the #1 issue, at least in my mind, and I know the supervisors feel the same way about that. Also, I attended the Maricopa Chamber. It's important for me to go to these meetings because I need to understand with the people of not only Maricopa but other chambers what they have to say about businesses. How do we get businesses to come to Maricopa and all of Pinal County to make sure that we can keep the employees here in Pinal County so they're not driving out of our cities and towns every single day of the week supporting other areas. So hopefully that the chambers all over Pinal County continue doing the great job that they do. Then also I attended the Maricopa General Planning. Very important also, again, it's in my district, obviously, and for me to understand what they're planning on doing in Maricopa. So I attend theirs to make sure that we coincide with each other, to make sure we understand what's going on in the city and actually out in Hidden Valley Thunderbird Farms and the surrounding areas. So thank you, Chairman. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything in District 3 going on of late, other than try and stay cool, everybody. Be aware of the temperatures out there. Drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated, because we are in the, as they say, the dog days of summer, and it's not going to get cooler for a while. So hang in there, everyone. Brings us to item number 4 in the on the agenda is a discussion and updates on the state and federal legislation. I don't have anything. Everybody's just sitting around waiting to see when the state will sine-die and when they'll agree on a budget and when they'll agree on enough to be able to hit the gavel and leave. But I do understand that Dana has provided us with a video for an update for her portion of this. Is that true?
Chairman, that's for item number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're on the budget. Number 4?
No.
Now number 5.
So we're going to go to number 5 now.
5. Okay.
Okay.
Now the video. I'm sorry. I was looking at one thing and saying another.
Miller, Vice Chair McClure, members of the board, Dana Lewis, Pinal County Recorder. I unfortunately am not present with you today because our team is attending the Election Officials of Arizona annual conference. There we're learning how to be the best election officials that Pinal County deserves. Some updates in regards to our election processes for the upcoming Congressional District 7 election include that we passed our logic and accuracy test with the Arizona Secretary of State's office. Additionally, today, June 18th, is the first day that voters can vote an early ballot in person, or our ballots are mailed out to voters who are on the active early voting list or have requested a one-time ballot by mail. Remember, voters must be registered to vote 29 days prior to an election, and early voting always starts 27 days before an election. To keep in the forefront is the Santan Valley Incorporation election on August 5th. Again, 29 days before an election, our people are required to register to vote, and 27 days before the election, we can start voting early in person. The last MOU presentation was quite expansive, and people have the ability to go back and review all of the upcoming dates for the 4 elections occurring in Pinal County. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you. Brings us to item number 6 on the agenda. Purchasing Division Report.
Good morning, Chairman Miller, members of the board. Angie Woods. I'm the Director of the Office of Budget and Finance, and I have today's Purchasing Division Report. Before I go through that report, I would like to introduce to you a new purchasing manager that began with the county on May the 26th. Her name is Tracy Gorman. She comes to us with over 20 years of public government procurement experience, and she will begin to present these purchasing division reports beginning the meeting of July the 2nd. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you to her. So today's purchasing division report for June 18th of 2025, the board's requested to approve 6 contract awards, new contracts, RFP 252730 for adult criminal indigent legal services, RFP 252830 for appellate indigent legal services, RFP 252930 for capital representation indigent legal services, RFP 253030 for general indigent legal services, RFP 253130 for juvenile delinquency indigent legal services, RFP 253230 for retained dependent indigent legal services. All 6 of these contracts are used by our public defense services, and there's, I want to say, over 60 different attorneys that are on those contracts for our public defense services department to be using. We are recommending 4 contract amendments extending contract periods for RFP 208025 for on-site tire consignment, RFP 220226 for specialty legal services, RFP 230127 for correctional health services, and ROQ for the ROQ for JOC civil construction services. There are 3 purchase orders that require your approval, or 3 purchase orders that have changes that require your approval. There are 3 cooperative purchasing agreements we'd like to notify you of that they're spending between $100,000 and $250,000 on those, using those cooperative agreements. And then lastly, the report includes 2 cooperative purchase requisitions that are over the amount of $250,000 that require your approval. Are there any questions?
Any questions on the Purchasing Division report? Hearing seen, none. Board's pleasure.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchasing report dated June 18th, 2025 as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Aye.
And that was unanimous.
Thank you.
And welcome aboard, Ms. Corbin. Brings us to item number 7. Discussion, approval, disapproval of the Pinal County tentative budget for the fiscal year 25-26, beginning July 1.
$1.229 billion.
Pardon me? Oh. $1 billion. Okay. I'll let Ms. Woods handle that.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the board, Angie Woods, Director of the Office of Budget and Finance. This item before you is really consisting of 2 different things that are all encapsulated into our budget. I do have a presentation that I would like to go through, but I do want to tell you that for the record, this presentation and the final 25-26 Pinal County compensation plan has been submitted to the board for that, for the record, and can be requested from the clerk's office. The public can request that from the clerk's office. Essentially, the item is our budget schedules. Every year we go through a process of collecting information from our departments, allocating the resources available to departments for uses, and we have prescribed schedules required through statute. And that is really what you're adopting here, that and our Pinal County compensation plan. I would not be a great leader if I didn't thank the people that have the most work in this effort. I have a team of individuals, management budget analysts, a budget supervisor that have spent countless hours between January and today working with financial contacts in our departments, our elected offices. Sometimes they're working directly with department heads, elected officials. That culmination goes into these schedules, and I really just want to thank the team, thank everybody that has put their effort into this tentative budget. So our when I began to the process of budgeting, we go back to the basics. We go back to what our foundation is. And we have here in the county a strategic priority for financial strength and stewardship. This budget is built upon that continued commitment to financial strength and stewardship. The things we're doing in the budget are reducing primary and secondary property tax rates. We're ensuring that we have a structurally balanced budget. We're ensuring that we're making investments in our employees, our infrastructure, and equipment that goes to doing the things that ensure that we can provide an adequate and excellent service to our constituents. We also look at various sources for economic indicators that helps us determine, where our money is potentially going to be projected at. We look at things, I have words on the screen, right? Unemployment, GDP, inflation, jobs, all of those things. We track that data on a regular basis so that we have the pulse point of what's going on in our economy and how that's affected our Pinal County's financial resources and how we spend things. Unemployment nationally, May 2025 was at 4.2%. Pinal County specifically for April of 25 was estimated about 3.6%. So unemployment in the county is actually lower than national. Pinal GDP is an increase of 13.3%. At the end of 2023. That's the most recent numbers that are out there. Arizona in general is at an increase of 5.6%. The Bureau of Labor Statistics provides inflationary numbers, Consumer Price Index. The U.S. national inflation rate for May of 2025 is 2.4%. Phoenix MSA, which the county is included in, is only 0.3% increase. But over the last 3 years, there's been a 10.3% increase in inflation. As far as job growth goes, the Bureau of Economic Analysis provides us data. In April of this year, Arizona was the 38th, ranked 38th in job growth in the U.S. In Arizona, there were 18,100 jobs added. And within the Phoenix MSA, of those 18,100 jobs, 15,100 jobs were added, which Pinal County is a part of that MSA, so which that means is approximately 80% of the jobs in the state went to that Phoenix MSA. I can't tell you how many jobs were specific to Pinal County, but thinking about the things that are happening here, I would make the assumption that a good portion of those jobs would come to us. Pinal's median income for wage earners has increased 1.3% this past year to $77,290. That's in comparison to nationally, the national hourly earning median income is $77,719, so getting pretty close to that. Other things that we look at is population. The U.S. Census provided data that for 2024 that Pinal County had an increase of 5.6% in our population to a total of 513,862 people. So that's quite a bit of growth. Other things that we typically look at, obviously, are property taxes and how our property taxes relate to the other taxing jurisdictions in the county. This property tax bill is from the 24-25 adoption. As we go through the collecting all of the rates from our jurisdictions, we'll bring back another presentation to update these numbers. I just really wanted to remind you that when the rates were adopted in 24-25, the Pinal County portion of the tax dollar was only 26%. So the budget includes, overall, we're proposing a decrease in property tax rates. Our Pinal County primary tax rate was $3.45. The current budget before you today has a property tax rate of $3.363. The flood control district previously had a rate of 0.1693. The proposed is 0.1620. The library district had a rate of 0.0913, and then the proposed is 0.0890. So all significant increases, or decreases, excuse me. This is just a chart of how that has happened. The primary property tax rate I'm showing you all the way back to 1819. The most recent year, that is really a 3% decrease in the rate. So it's a continued commitment to lowering that rate. And as far as the flood control district, last several years, don't know. I actually don't know the last time the rate actually decreased. This is the first rate decrease we've seen for the that we've proposed for the flood control district. It's about a 4.5% decrease for this year. And then the library district, as we've been reporting out to you, the fund balances and the uses of the resources that they've had, we've been able to take a more strategic approach with the library district as well. So this is the second year that the rate has decreased, and again, this is about a 3% decrease in that rate. So this slide shows, as Vice Chair McClure stated, these are all of the sources, so all of the money that the county has at its fingertips to use in the fiscal year 25-26 budget. So it's $1,229,099,966. This pie chart really shows the funding sources that it comes from. So 24% being property tax. Those are those taxes I just went over. Federal funding, 18%. If you look at state shared TPT, county TPT, and vehicle license tax, those are all based upon consumer spending. That those three things, those three categories, actually equal 29%. So, for that context of the comparison between property tax and these TPT and VLT taxes, they're really similar. This slide shows how we're actually using all of that money, how we're budgeted to use all that money, and being public infrastructure being the most. So those are all of the roads and streets, really the things that are supporting our constituents. We have the justice system and law enforcement. Again, that's our jail, our sheriff's office, our county attorney's office, our superior court. Those types of things are in that 30%. General government include things like your board offices, the appointed departments from the county manager's office. The school superintendent is in other, but we have the assessor, the treasurer, the recorder, all in that general government category. As we get a little bit more granular, I wanted to stop and really talk about the general fund budget assumptions that are built in. And in a moment, I'm going to go through some slides more related to the revenues. We're projecting conservative increases in revenues to continue what we've been doing in the past. And then we've built in to the budget elected and appointment departmental requests for new positions. We've only built those into the budget centrally. As my team has reviewed a lot of the documentation that has been provided to us, we still have some outstanding questions before we ask this board to approve any of those budgetary requests. We're still continuing to mull through those, and at such a point in time when we're ready and have all of those answered, we'll be bringing those items forward for consideration. That's both the department requests and the budget requests, so they're included in the total budget. However, we're still holding them centrally until we've finished that analysis. The budget.
Mr. Chair, may I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead. I was going
on those new, Ms. Woods, on those new positions, looking at adding new positions, are we also looking at deleting vacant positions that have not been filled for many years?
Chairman Miller, Vice Chair McClure, yes, that's part of the ongoing questions where we want to ensure that we're accurately representing the number of positions that are funded in the budget. So those are some of the questions that we're still remaining to have answered. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the public understands that we're not funding a bunch of vacant positions. We're actually looking to make sure that we're very efficient.
Thank you. That is absolutely true.
And just for clarity, Ms. Woods, I just want to, for the public's notice, this is the cap. This is the highest, our tentative budget. We can always go down from here, but we cannot go up. So what we set today will be the ceiling of any kind of expenditures. And that's why we include a whole lot of stuff here, and some of this is still to be determined as we move forward.
That is correct, and I was going to speak to that a little bit later in my presentation, but thank you, Chairman, for bringing that up. The budget also includes a 7% medical increase for our Employee Benefits Trust. That was brought to this board earlier, I want to say somewhere in the April or May timeframe that this board approved that medical benefits increase. So we did include that into our calculations for the budget. Additionally included is funding set aside centrally for market adjustments and compensation increases. As I stated before, this item is also to approve a compensation plan for fiscal year 25-26. That compensation plan is very consistent with what we have been doing over the last several years, actually going back to 2020. There's really not big changes in that plan. It is proposing a 3% across the board pay increase for our employees. That excludes those employees on the sheriff's office sworn step system and the sheriff's office detention step system. Those two things are separate matrix that have their own prescribed pay increases already included in them. So, but this is for all other employees. So if you have any questions about the compensation plan, Mary Ellen Shepard is here to answer any of those questions if you'd like.
Okay.
So I'll just move ahead to the general fund revenue. So this is the makeup of the money just specifically in the general fund. So 43% is primary property tax. If you were to look at both the intergovernmental and the county TPT, that's 45%. Those things are state TPT, VLT, PILT, and then the county TPT tax. So now pretty balanced there. The other things are obviously development-related fees, license and permits, fines and forfeits. Those other things make up the remaining portion of that pie chart. Getting a little more granular for VLT and TPT tax revenue, really what this chart is really showing is when you look at those green bars, that's all the VLT. It's all based upon registration, vehicle registration. You can see it has grown over the last few years very, very slowly, and that's directly related to new car purchases in the state that get derived down here to the county. The dark blue or almost black color there is the county TPT. That is, you can see, is been growing pretty steadily over the last few years, and I have another slide that's coming up to kind of dig into that a little bit more to show you. It's just been steadily growing the last few years. And then that orangish color there is the state shared TPT. And you can see it's growing, but the slowing growth over the last couple of years. So we're continuing to conservatively project these numbers into the future. Any questions on this slide?
How's that the state shared TPT actually calculated? Is that off of population? Is that
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, it is a state calculation. All of the state money, it comes into the state. They trickle it down in several different ways, but it is population-based, and there's a difference between unincorporated population and population within cities and towns. Does that make sense? So looking more granularly into the county TPT, this is really really neat to see, you know, the orange piece of each of these bar charts, and this is the last about 12 months. It only goes back to March. We get this data a little bit stale because the collections come through the Arizona Department of Revenue. But so going back to this time frame, our contracting portion of the TPT is about 29%. So as we're seeing development happen, that's where that becomes, we watch those numbers, you know, the housing permit numbers, the construction is directly related to those. And so we watch these over time, and as you know, that changes, that would indicate us to need to make changes in our projections. The retail and the online remote retail, that is really a testament to, you know, when you add 38% and 9% together, that's 47%. So that means that our constituents are buying local. Because even if they're buying online, if they're shipping items to their home address in Pinal County, we're receiving that TPT tax off of that. So that's the testament to buying local. And the online has been growing over the last several years as our constituents and people living here are buying a lot more online. So going to talk about how we spend money in the general fund. So 29% of that goes to, like I said, the general government, assessor, recorder, treasurer, board, all of the appointed departments, our utilities, our facilities. 28% goes to our sheriff's office. We have built in here increases for debt, for the new bond that we have proposed and going through that process. Our courts and legal together is about 21%, and then that 8% is really made up of mandatory contributions to state access, and then behavioral health and animal control. So any questions on the distribution of how we're spending things? And then getting a little bit more into the detail on how we're spending money. So these are numbers related to our investments in our infrastructure and our equipment across the county. So we're doing improvements, renovations, repairs, planning, design, equipment enhancements. We're doing fiber and tower upgrades. We're doing a lot of vehicle replacement. And while the numbers for vehicles seem shockingly high, I did want to point out that due to really the ability to order and receive vehicles, this is actually 2 years worth of vehicles for the county. So depending on those purchases, some of this, maybe only half of this gets spent because we've allocated dollars in the previous budget that haven't yet to be spent. So we have to reallocate them to the new year.
Okay, I think Supervisor Surdy has a question.
Absolutely.
Can other staff answer questions, or is this all you? Okay, down bottom it says 3 additional sheriff vehicles. I would be curious to know if that's the request for the range deputies. Maybe Sheriff Teeple can just nod his head.
I can actually answer that question.
Okay.
It is related to their range deputies.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So unless Sheriff would. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it is specifically related to those. Those are the new additions for this year, specific to the range deputies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on our investments to infrastructure equipment? Okay. So as you know, we've had several work sessions and action item from the board on our bond-funded capital projects. I just wanted to make sure that you are aware that we did build these new projects into the budget, $190 million. These are estimates at this time. You know, these estimates were as of March timeframe. We still have to go through the solicitation process, the whole, you know, awarding bids, all of that. So the total project costs and funding amounts are really subject to change. And anything that we need to change in priority or scope, we'll be bringing items back to you for discussion. So just kind of trying to wrap up a little bit, just to, putting some sound bites out here. The budget does lower the primary property tax by almost 9 cents. It's really a 3% decrease. Secondary property tax rates for the flood control district, again, decreased by 4.5%, and our library district by 3%. We do have a structurally balanced budget, and want to thank you, board, for the ongoing investments, improvements that we're making, both for our employees and for our citizens. This chart, last chart that I really have here, is really prescribed by our Schedule A that gets posted in the newspaper. So it just really is a well-rounded view of what the citizens are going to see in the posting in the paper of the entire $1.2 billion budget, 38% being in our general fund, 37% being in our special revenue, 21% being in capital projects, and then 3% debt and 1% in our enterprise funds. So as Chairman Miller pointed out earlier, this is setting that ceiling. Once adopted, this board could be making decisions to decrease, reallocate any of the capacity that has been budgeted in those schedules. And it also includes every single fund balance, all of the money that is available to us, even if we're not going to spend it. So future action item on July 2nd, board meeting for a final budget adoption, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Supervisor McClure, do you have any questions? Don't want to forget about you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions this time.
Okay. Okay, I guess there aren't any questions
Thank you.
at this point. So, board's pleasure.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the tentative budget for the fiscal year of 2025 to 2026 as presented, and reflecting the final fiscal year 25-26 Pinal County Employee Compensation Plan.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Woods. Okay. Brings us to item number 8 on the agenda, which is the consent items. So all items indicated by an asterisk will be handled as a single vote as part of the consent agenda unless a board member, county manager, or a member of the public objects at the time the agenda item is called. Anybody want anything pulled? Any of the board members? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Liu, from the public? Come up. What is it? A and AB.
No, AA.
Oh, AA. Okay. All right.
And Supervisor, Mr. Chair.
Uh-huh.
Steve. Mr. Rebellis.
Oh, Roberto?
Item AG.
And AG. Roberto. Okay, anyone else from the public? Like anything pulled? Seeing none? Seeing no one else? Board's pleasure.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve consent items A through AK minus AA, AB, and AG.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. So, AA, whose is that? I know, but who is the presenter on that one? Let me pull that up here. Hang on a second. Okay, you want to come up and give us your question? And then we'll see if we can't.
Dear Podolsky, I just wonder why we're approving in June something that began in January. It just seems strange to me. And that's the same question for AB. The thing is dated January 1st, and today is June 18th. Thank you.
Ross
I don't know if
There's
it might be
Ross.
more of an Angie question, but Ross, is it just because of the availability of funds, or we approved it December 31? Oh. Ending on December 31. Oh, January 1, ending December 31. Go ahead, if you can.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, Pinal County, Sheriff Ross Teeble here on AA and AB. It's an excellent question. The best explanation I can give you, the short and sweet of it is a change in administration, and the federal government moves at a snail's pace, and they move it at snail's pace even lower. This is money that we need, and the best example of that is this unit just seized 5 million fentanyl pills off of the streets, 32 pounds of cocaine off the streets, and 20 pounds of crystal methamphetamines off the streets. The overtime paid for that detail came out of this HIDA grant. And yes, the money was approved by you, and I don't have an answer for why the federal government slowed down to a snail's pace and didn't get this money approved, so I appreciated your support at this time.
Okay.
Hope that answers your question.
Does that answer the question?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. My guess is it finally got released.
Yes, sir.
The money got released.
Yes, sir. When they changed the administration, there was a order from the executive office to re-examine all grants. That included HIDA. So they re-examined every federal grant, which slowed it down.
Okay.
And that, I guess the other thing is, Mr. Chair, I think these grants are annually, as it said, January 1st through December 31st of 2026. And so they're short for that period of time. And so whenever those funds become available, I think that's probably a really good explanation, because they've reevaluated those grants. We've had many individuals come up and talk about that.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. I get it.
Okay. So do I have a motion on AA and is it AB?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item AA and AB as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. What was the next one? AG? Your question, Mr. Reveles?
Roberto Reveles, resident of Gold Canyon. If I could get an answer to the first question. The first question being, and this is, I support this request, but I'd like to know roughly how many members of the sheriff's office have had need to get mental health references, roughly, in the last whatever measurable period of time.
Okay. Well, he just wants a number. He doesn't want names.
Mr. Reveles, I appreciate the question, sir, and I very much appreciate that you didn't ask for names because we want to keep these individuals safety at best. But currently, right now, we've had 26 individuals that have requested these services with it. We do face a stigma in law enforcement. I will be the first to admit that many old-timers in law enforcement don't want to admit they need help. What we have done with this funding is when they see the senior staff realizing that they need the help. Current Chief of Police, Matt Thomas, he was one of the first to go vocal for it, so I feel comfortable sharing his information because he was vocal about the fact that he realized after all the years of doing law enforcement that he needed mental health. And after he did that, there was a watershed moment where we got little to no interest to it, so now it's generally increasing on a daily basis.
Is that answer your question, Mr. Reveles?
Thank you. And I appreciate, because I have relatives who serve in law enforcement, and I know how stressful that service is to not only the individual but the family. My second question is in the need to clarify that the words we use in these discussions are very important. And recently, the sheriff was quoted with a recent situation where law enforcement felt pressured by protesters. And the choice of words that the sheriff used, I think, need to have an opportunity for him to clarify that use of words, because I agree that sometimes we in the public act like less than informed idiots was the word he used. But my question is, does he apply that same characterization to those who violently attacked law enforcement officers on January 6th?
Well, I don't see how that's tied to this exact agenda item.
Well, it's in the sense of promoting public confidence in recognizing that law enforcement face a lot of challenges. And I think it would help clarify within the public respect for law enforcement.
I think it's outside the agenda item at this point in time, but I will take that as we'll allow the sheriff to respond to that at a later date.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So I need a motion for AG.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve item AG as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay. I think that brings us to flood control. Okay, I'm going to recess the Board of Supervisors meeting and open up the Pinal County Flood Control District Board of Directors meeting for June 18th, 2025. All items listed by an asterisk will be handled as a single vote as a consent agenda unless a board member, county manager, or a member of the public objects at the time that the items are called. So I believe we have A and B. Anybody want anything pulled from the flood district? Nope. Manager's office, from the public? Not seeing any. Board's pleasure.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Flood Control District A and B as read.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay.
Aye.
Okay, I'm moving to adjourn the Flood District meeting. And we'll go to call to the public. Item number 10 is call to the public. A call to the public is a time and period for members of the public to address the Board of Supervisors and the public and input relating to subject matters within the Board of Supervisors' authority and jurisdiction. Those wishing to address the Board of Supervisors need not request permission in advance. Actions taken as a result of the public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter or reschedule it for further consideration and discussion at a later date. I do have a couple of cards here, it looks like, or no, just one card. Mr. Barry McCain, we'll start with that one.
Good morning, Chair Miller, Pinal County Board of Supervisors, staff, and friends. I'm Barry McCain from the city of Maricopa, born and raised. First, I'd like to tell you, if you guys want to know something about me, I was on the Personnel Reliability Program, but the thing I want to stress is everybody talks about the budget. I've been doing it on the state for a long time, and the state budget was DOA out of the Senate. Hopefully, we'll get it through today in the House of Representatives. That's the latest that I know of. So I wanted you to know that. Mr. Roberto Rivera spoke about the MAGA hat that was worn here in this room. It's important to note that both Roberto and I were SOMOS officers and have been addressing immigration issues for decades. I wish to point out that the MAGA hat is wrong. America has been great and still is great ever since our forefathers published the U.S. Constitution and 27 amendments, including the Bill of Rights. Our forebears did this because of their struggles, education, experience, and deep conviction to serve this country, its people more fairly, honestly, and to be sustainable. If it were not for immigration, then we would not be the United States of America. Greatness has nothing to do with our bank accounts. The common thing in God, country, family is devotion and continual quest for knowledge. But we're diverse in numbers because of education, experiences, and two-way communication. Free speech is the First Amendment because we must be able to have the necessary, difficult conversations to achieve fairness, treated equally without the fear of reprisal, and to continue to achieve the best possible solution or alternative. Chair Miller, it is your responsibility to keep decorum, not me. Supervisor McClure, your office advised me not to return until things calmed down, which would never have been necessary if Supervisor Vitello had not panicked and threatened his constituent, thus violating his oath of office. Both actions no leadership expert would ever approve of. To represent others is an honor and not an excuse to make peace with mediocrity. Our voters should never tolerate such banal and childish behavior. To do the right thing is more important than patting someone's ego. Leadership requires calmness, fact-based testimony, and above all, trust in each other to improve all the chances as Americans to arrive at the best possible solution and to serve this great country fairly and honestly.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the Board of Supervisors? Your name, generally where you live.
Dia Podolsky, unincorporated Pinal County. I just have a question for you to ask your staff to do. When they use abbreviations the first time, would they please explain what it stands for? I listened to the whole budget thing, not having a clue what TPT was, and it makes a big difference in my comprehension. I eventually Googled it. I first found out teachers paying teachers. That's the first thing that you come up with. Eventually, I kept limiting it, and I now know it's some formula that's used to do tax rate assessments or something. But you just can't give out abbreviations without explanations. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Hold on, Nola. The mic's not working for some reason.
Okay. I'm Noel Reck from Eloy. I recently watched a televised broadcast of the Broadway play Good Night and Good Luck, detailing Edward R. Murrow's takedown of Senator Joseph McCarthy in 1954 during the Red Scare, a time of wild accusations about members of the Communist Party infiltrating the media, the entertainment industry, the military, and the federal government. I was struck by the similarities between the political climate then and that which exists today. The common themes being radical leftists, university indoctrination, the ACLU and other organizations as fronts for Marxism, and fear in general, particularly fear and persecution of the other. McCarthy's attacks were filled with lies. The number of communists he claimed were destroying our nation changed from speaking engagement to speaking engagement, and from city to city. He had nothing. I see the same thing from Trump, himself a habitual liar, to wit, COVID misinformation, the stolen election, not paying off Stormy Daniels, the price of eggs dropping 400%, Haitians eating dogs and cats, criminals being the focus of deportation over all others, knowing nothing about Project 2025, Medicaid cuts not being for the benefit of tax cuts for the wealthy, tax cuts trickling down, foreign nations paying his tariffs, and thousands more. I see the same attack on the media, with Trump portraying them as the enemy of the people, while McCarthy labeled them as the jackal pack. I see the same personal attacks, McCarthy labeling anyone who disagreed with him as a communist, accusing his opponents of membership in organizations they were never a part of, citing the dangers of socialist unions and the Hollywood 10. Trump constantly attacking President Biden and labeling anyone who disagrees with him as woke, a DEI hire, a communist, a radical leftist Democrat, and a candidate for his retribution. I hear the voice of the soft-spoken lawyer from Kansas, Joseph Welch, who took McCarthy down during the McCarthy Army hearings. Quote, "Until this moment, Senator, I think I never really gauged your cruelty or your recklessness. Senator, you've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you no sense of decency?" Unquote. I find these words to be equally applicable to Donald Trump. Lastly, I see the common thread linking McCarthy and Trump, that being McCarthy's right-hand man, who in later years would become Trump's mentor, Roy Cohn. Cohn taught Trump all the tricks he has employed over the years: lie, delay, deflect, welch, sue, and if ever linked to someone in disfavor, deny you know of them or have ever been around them. Murrow reflected that our nation, our history, will only be that which we make of it. I call on this board in the same way. Much of Pinal County's nature and history will be that which you make of it as you deal with the continued abuses of power by the Trump administration, the ramifications of Project 2025, and the big ugly bill, of which polls show a 65% disapproval rate. As of all this finally becomes clear, the citizens of Pinal County are counting on you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. I know that Supervisor Rich, your name was mentioned, and then Supervisor McClure, your name was mentioned. If I'm right, if I'm correct, you have anything to say in response?
Sure. As always, I always reach out and let the constituents know whether you're in my district or not, that you're always welcome to come to my office in Maricopa, or I can meet you somewhere, and we're happy to sit down and sit and listen to both sides of every story. And that way, based on the fact that I don't know where this comment came from, Mr. McCain, you're welcome anytime to my office to sit down and air out any differences you have with myself. And I just want to let you know that I keep that offer opened 24/7, 7 days a week, whatever works best for you. Thank you.
Supervisor McClure, did you want to respond?
No, Mr. Chair, I've got no comment at this time. Thank you.
Okay. And same here. I do my best to keep order here, so that's all I'll say. Brings us to our regular agenda item number 11, which is discussion, approval, or disapproval of a fireworks display permit application, Fireworks Productions, Arizona, on behalf of the Saddlebrook one, to be held on July 4th, 2025 at 64500 East Saddlebrook Boulevard, Tucson, Arizona. Has Natasha's name right underneath it, but I believe that we have to go through some procedural things here, and I believe Sheriff Teeple going to present first, and then Corey Redden, Office Management. So, and I don't know if we want to kind of explain the process of this application, but it requires several people to sign off on it before it comes before the Board of Supervisors. So I'll leave it at that unless there's more explanation needed. Sheriff Teeple.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Pinal County, Sheriff Ross Teeple, and there is several steps for when a fireworks application is put together and then submitted. It's different when it goes through an incorporated city as an unincorporated area. This is an unincorporated area, so one of the steps that it has to go through is to go through the sheriff. I wish I could be as wrong as many times as meteorologists are wrong, and I wish we were having the wet summer that they all predicted we would have right now. But unfortunately, I live south of Florence, very close to Saddlebrook, and we haven't had rain for over a year. I mean, legitimate, measurable rain in over a year. To watch the Cody fire while it was progressing, and my deputies were fearlessly going and evacuating the town of Oracle, which is just over the ridge, it absolutely amazed me how fast this fire moved and how much material there was in there. I'm not a fire expert. I'm not even going to try to play to be a fire expert. We have fire experts here that can explain to you about the fuel and stuff. I can tell you that there's no one in this room that has more personal experience with fire than me, and I wouldn't want anyone to go through that. And that's why I can't, in good conscience, approve this permit right now today. As much as I love this country, I want them to have their 4th of July celebration, but I want them to have it safely, just like I will have it safely. Thank you. I'm open for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the sheriff?
Sheriff, I would just, again, maybe of whatever happens here, but recommend a drone show. It is unbelievable, safe, beautiful, just as a recommendation.
Thank you, Supervisor Vitiel. I never even heard of that. I'm going to look into it. Didn't they have one in the city of Maricopa over the water? That's right. It's very cool.
Supervisor
That's a great recommendation.
There's also laser shows, too. My question would be, and perhaps you're not the one to answer it, Sheriff Teeple, if a fire does get out of hand and get started, who will pay for it? Does that all have to come out of individual fire departments' budgets when they didn't really want to be there in the first place? Who would pay for that?
Great question, Supervisor. And Arizona's kind of unique when you compare it to eastern states. Most eastern states, the fire departments are government entities funded by the taxpayers. In unincorporated areas of Pinal County, where I live, we have a struggling fire department that is doing everything they can to get up and running, but that's paid for all through donations. Before they even set up, it was us individual residents that went out and fought the fires, and we paid for that out of our own pocket. My fire trailer I paid for out of my own pocket. Rural Metro Fire has to pay through subscriptions, and if not subscriptions, has to pay through billing. I'd like to give you one figure to put it into understanding, the Cody Fire in Oracle, the state fire marshal explained that they dumped $3.1 million worth of slurry alone to fight that fire. That's $3 million that now comes out of local, state, and federal government budgets to pay for that. That's just what they paid for, and that doesn't count what Oracle Fire had to pay for, and the man hours and the equipment and the water pump.
It could well bankrupt a smaller department. I know sometimes they can then put in to be reimbursed, but it could take a year. How do they operate in the time until they get reimbursed, too?
The side note to that is the Arizona Constitution mandates what the sheriff's primary responsibilities are. One of the sheriff's primary responsibilities is to conduct search and rescue operations, and I keep hearing that the state reimburses us for those search and rescue operations. I'm still filling out forms for searches that I supervised when I was a lieutenant over aviation search and rescue, try to get them funds back to the county. So that's how long it can take sometimes, and that would definitely bankrupt a smaller agency.
All right, any other questions?
Chairman?
Yes.
If it's all right, I see the firefighters in the back that obviously might have come for this. If they have anything to say, I'd love to hear their opinion since they are the professionals.
Mr. Chair, board members, my name is Tom Brandhuber. I'm the fire chief for Golden Ranch Fire District, and we're the fire district where the proposed fireworks would be show would occur. And I'm sorry, could you repeat your question, sir?
I'd like your opinion on, is this a good thing to do? I mean, I love fireworks. I'm a 4th of July baby, so I love it. But since this happened, I'm concerned that this could spark another fire, and I want your opinion on, would you want this going on in your backyard, which obviously it is?
Well, I think it's a difficult balancing act, to be honest. The initial permit came through our department first. This was before the Cody fire, before the extreme temperatures that we're seeing. We do have teams that are at the site. We do have a fire marshal that is at the site. So in a perfect world, yes, we're comfortable based on the extreme weather, based on the comments from the sheriff, and Ms. Redding's going to make some comments too. I'm in full support of public safety. So I think right now I can't stand before you and say there's no risks. And while they might be limited, it would be hard for us to justify if another fire started and it could have been prevented.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Redden, did you have anything you want to add to this?
Good morning, Chairman Miller, Vice Chair McClure, members of the board, Corey Redden, Deputy Director, Emergency Manager for Public Health and the Office of Emergency Management. What I do want to say is when assessing this application for a firework display for the Saddlebrook community, I considered the following not only as the county emergency manager, but as a former assistant fire chief. I considered this as a community that is proximate to the devastating Cody fire of over 1,200 acres in Oracle that started on May 21st, in which 5 people's homes were lost and many others suffered damages. Over 500 people received evacuation orders and another 400 plus were placed in set status in preparation to evacuate. I considered the amount of heavy fire fuels that remain in this area surrounding the Saddlebrook community, in which many residents have expressed their concerns that only one road of both egress and ingress exists. I consider the lack of fire suppression resources present in this area. This can place a significant burden on our fire districts and fire departments. With over 15 active wildfires throughout the state of Arizona today, the fire resources, to include air resources, are already overtaxed, and responses to our area may be delayed. During my time in the fire service, I witnessed falling embers that ignited brush 1.5 miles away from a firework display that took place in the middle of a well-moistured landscape in Fountain Hills. I'm not trying to call into question the professionalism and capabilities of the firework vendor, but for the aforementioned reasons, I cannot place an undue burden on the vital and limited federal, state, and local fire resources, as well as our county law enforcement, for a 20-minute fireworks display. There are other options. Supervisor Vitiello mentioned that there's drone displays, laser displays that are very beautiful and will show our patriotism on this historic date without putting the community in peril due to a wildfire.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you. So, because the sheriff has not approved this or will not, I understand, and I'll check, I'm looking at legal for affirmation that we withdraw this, withdraw this agenda item.
Required his approval, so therefore you can't take any action without that, so it would be withdrawal.
Okay, thank you. So I have a motion to...
Chairman, if I may, just for clarification and making sure that it is on the record, that the sheriff is indeed rescinding his prior approval to the clerk of the board office, which we received in our office prior to that fire.
Can I ask the sheriff to come up and rescind that? Because I've forgotten that, he had earlier had okayed it.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Natasha, as always, is correct, and she's awesome. I did mean to say when I talked about I wish I could be as wrong as often as meteorologists are. I did my due diligence when I received this application. I looked up the weather forecast, and they had been forecasting like 3 rains before the 4th of July in that area. So I said, it's going to be plenty wet. And then I approved and I would like to very much rescind it after seeing the devastation that would happen in the Cody fire.
Okay. So it's on the record that
Yes,
the
sir.
sheriff has rescinded his previous approval.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So now I need a motion.
And Mr. Chair.
Yes?
Sir, Mr. Chair, I just have a quick comment.
Okay.
As much as I like fireworks, I have a very difficult time wanting to approve something like this. I mean, we did have that fire up in Oracle.
Yes.
And it was very devastating. I would hate to see something like that happen in the Saddlebrook area. It would be much more devastating and so difficult to fight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'll try this again. Can I get a motion to withdraw item number 11 from the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move we withdraw item 11 from the agenda.
Great.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you, everyone. Okay, brings us to item number 12, discussion, approval, disapproval of a sale of, authorizing the sale of real estate property between Pinal County and the Tri-City Food Bank, Inc.
Good morning, Chair, or good afternoon, or somewhere in between. Joe Ortiz, Development Services Managing Director. Yes, item 12 is the discussion, approval, disapproval for the approving of a sale agreement and authorization for the sale of real property between Pinal County, being the grantor, and the Tri-Community Food Bank Incorporation, an Arizona nonprofit corporation, and that would be the grantee. This subject real property is located in District 4, which is within the town of Mammoth. And just one note for awareness for the board, this item does require unanimous consent.
Okay. Any questions? Should we do a roll call on this to make sure that we have unanimous?
That's fine, Chairman.
Okay.
Okay.
So after I get a motion, can I get a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 12 as presented.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Ms. Natasha, you want to do a roll call?
Yes.
Confirm the vote.
Supervisor Vitiello.
No.
Su-
Yes.
Supervisor Goodman.
Yes.
Supervisor Surtee.
Yes.
Vice Chairman McClure.
Yes.
Chairman Miller.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, brings us to item number 13, discussion, approval or disapproval of a pay structure and salary assigned to the Pinal County Sheriff's Office PCSO detention step plan. I have a whole slew of people here. We got the sheriff, we got Angie, who wants to start?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Pinal County, I know the gentleman thing to do is to let ladies go first, but they asked me to speak first. So.
Okay. Take note of that.
I didn't want my mom watching the video and getting mad at me. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Pinal County, I'm begging you guys to please pass this step plan. You guys are great about supporting the employees of Pinal County. Our normal system of 1 year we look at sworn raises, the next year we look at detention raises. It's great, but everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. And the detention officers got hit in the face by this out of control inflation that happened right after you guys gave them that raise. So 2 years ago, they got a raise which was commensurate to the time, but in the last 2 years, the cost of everything, the cost of living has gone up. And so this is their time to get them that raise. Yes, Supervisor McClure.
Oh, sorry, my mic was on. Sorry about that.
Sorry, sir. But this step plan, Mary Ellen will do a much better job of explaining the market study than I ever could. But this step plan keeps us in line with our partners. It aids in staff retention. Detention officers work the toughest beat in America. I ask every single one of you guys in here to think about the last time you went to work and had to worry about someone throwing feces on you or throwing urine on you, or the last time you had to worry about someone punching you in the face.
Everyone else has left the call.
I guess I was that boring. You didn't want to hear it. But the detention officers of Pinal County are true consumer professionals. We've received certification for 4 years running now, 100% compliance for the last 2 years. So we maintain one of the highest quality jails in the United States, if not the world. And I'm asking for your approval on this step plan increase. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm open for any questions now or after these two fine individuals speak.
Anybody? Any questions of the sheriff? Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Chairman Miller, members of the board, Mary Ellen Shepard, Deputy County Manager, HR Director. As the sheriff indicated, this step plan revision is a part of an agreement that we have made with the sheriff's office, and more importantly, a commitment we have made to the detention officers who work in our jails to keep the inmate population safe and ultimately to keep our community safer. We did a recent market study, and in that market study, we are looking at the counties, primarily Maricopa, Pima, and Yavapai, based upon the size of counties. And we are also looking at the cities. Although they do not have the scope or complexity, they are able to pay wages that are highly competitive. So we look at those to make sure we are not only looking at comparators, but our potential competitors. So the wages we offer our detention officers and the rank is consistent with our community and reflective of the critical work that they perform. So if you have any questions about how we came to the data, I'm happy to answer that. Based upon that analysis, we applied it to the step plan, and the rates you see before you are in consideration of that approach.
Any questions of Mary Ellen at this time on her portion? We're looking at their notes. Someone give them a minute. to confirm, I'll ask Ms. Woods if you come up.
Chairman.
Just to reaffirm that this has already been calculated into the tentative budget that we approved earlier.
Chairman, yes. That was one of the items that in my discussion earlier, it is been budgeted centrally in a central location, and upon approval gives us your approval gives us the authority to not only implement those pay increases, but also to implement the budget appropriation to the sheriff's office, specifically to their detention cost center for covering those increases.
Yeah, I just wanted to reaffirm that for the public.
Thank you.
Any questions on this topic at all by my colleagues? Don't know if we have McClure still on. We don't. Okay. So, if there are no questions, board's pleasure.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a recommendation or a motion that we approve item number 13 as presented. Gladly.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for the presentation, staff. Brings us to an executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session.
Do I have a second? I guess I don't have it. Oh, I do have a second, finally. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. Favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.